If this is your first foray into the world of luxury items, Louis Vuitton's Looping GM collection can serve as the perfect introductory piece. Hi, I am Pam. I'm a professional vintage Louis Vuitton reseller with 10 years of experience and 5,000 plus vintage Louis Vuitton bag sales experience to back it up. And I'm here to help you find the perfect vintage Louis Vuitton bag for you. Louis Vuitton Looping GM's name doesn't have the same flair that a lot of the brand items do. So what makes this bag such a beginner's level hit? If it's suitable for people trying it out for the first time, should you, an already luxury item expert, buy it? Let's have a look. Structure. Compared to a lot of other Louis Vuitton collections, the Looping GM actually doesn't seem that flattering at first glance. It's basically a flat, rectangular bag that's quite long. It also has a solid base. Then we have the wide handle that takes on this circular shape. In other words, the shoulder strap is looping, which is the secret behind its name. What's good about the shape of the strap is that it isn't particularly thin and therefore doesn't dig into your shoulders. It isn't too thick either, so it doesn't feel heavy. The pads on the shoulder area also adds to the comfort. It's easy to open and close the bag as it has a single zip enclosure. However, the zipper area is a bit narrow, although it isn't much of a problem getting your hands in and out of the bag. Beige Alcantara lining is used for the interior. Inside the bag, there's one zipper compartment and another phone pocket. There's also a D-ring holder right below the main zipper, so if you wanted, you could either add a pouch there or even just use it as a key holder. The Looping GM is about 11 inches in length alone. It's about 12 inches in height and 4.5 inches in width. In some ways, the bag has an extremely basic appearance, but that's what makes it so much more fitting for some people. What fits? The Looping GM is actually quite spacious, especially because of its elongated structure. It's a work bag of sorts, so while you won't be able to fit in your laptop, a notebook should be no problem. You can also keep some important documents, your purse, card, keys, and your makeup bag inside it. As the base of the bag spaces out a little, it can actually fit in more things than you would think at first glance. You can even jam in a water bottle in there. As most Louis Vuitton items are, it's quite sturdy, so as long as you don't go overboard stuffing it with items, the bag will stay in good condition. Maintenance. The Looping collection requires the bare minimum of maintenance, but you can't completely ignore taking care of it. For one, if you keep the bag stuffed in too long, it would start to develop mildew from the damp surrounding. Make sure the bag gets fresh air and a little sunlight every day, though that shouldn't be much of a problem since it's quite likely that you would use the bag every day anyway. The bag doesn't have many leather parts. It's mainly the shoulder strap, so avoid using water to clean that area. Resale information. On the resale market, it's not that hard to find the Looping GM. However, the price range is a little surprising, as it can get as low as $500 or as high as $1,200. The higher the price though, the higher the chances of the bag being in the optimum condition. Louis Vuitton actually stopped producing the Looping around 2009. A shame really, considering the Looping Mini used to be quite popular. Now you can only find the bag in the luxury market, but most of the time the price is quite low. Authenticity. On the Looping GM, you'll find the date code engraved on the inside of the leather tab, which is also where the D-ring is. As for the Louis Vuitton stamp, you'll find it under the inside zipper. The stitching in a Louis Vuitton bag is always too intricate. You won't find stitches coming off from it ever. The space between the stitches is always even and the exact right amount. The thread is also more mustard yellow in color, while for counterfeits, you would likely find a brighter shade. How to style. In appearance, the Louis Vuitton Looping GM is a bit plain. The only thing it has really going for it is the beautiful color of the monogram canvas. However, exactly because of its structure, the bag can easily fit itself into a casual or professional setting. The bag isn't exactly made for parties as it is for practical use. It's the kind of bag you can use every day of the week. In this case, you aren't meant to show off the bag as much as the bag is supposed to show you off. If you're planning on a casual day out with friends, you can pair the bag with a pretty white or inky blue dress. It would also look good if you were to wear a light pink top and dark colored pants while you have the bag looped over your arms. Mostly, the bag looks good with light colored clothes such as sap green, gray, etc. For the professional look, the Looping GM would look amazing in your hand when you have on a long beige coat over whatever casual outfit you have decided to wear for the day. Is Looping GM for you? When you look at the Looping GM, it's obvious it's made for regular use. Everything about the bag screams sturdy, reliable, and practical more than a fashion item. Of course, the structure also means it can easily fit into most looks. It's as suitable for an afternoon date with friends as it is for a run to the grocery store. The maintenance is easier with the lack of leather, and the zipper top is an added bonus for people who are always in a hurry or don't like complicated enclosures. As we've mentioned before, the Looping GM is too basic in terms of look, and that's what makes it perfect if it's your first run-in with Louis Vuitton. You can get a good idea of how reliable the brand is when it comes to its luxury items, and you can then move on to fancier products. In other words, if you're looking for a vintage Louis Vuitton that's also practical, this is the one you want. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to help me create more videos like this. Thank you for watching and have a fabulous day.